are still, you've still got your movement, but then you're going to slow down and bring it into yin. The other thing with yin is it's great preparation for meditation, or it's a nice sort of step inwards to meditation, if you like, for people that struggle to just come to seated and to move inwards. So you might get to your yin, you might still find you struggle to move inwards, and that's fine. That's why it's called a practice. We keep showing up for ourselves and moving in, and allow whatever it is, or if anything shows up tonight, let it. Just notice what happens physically and emotionally. Sod's Law fireworks have just now started to go off, so I'm not sure how yin that is going to be. So just come into your seated position, relaxing your shoulders down away from your ears, lifting tall through the chest, and just arriving, not changing the breath, because we are going to start with pranayama, just observing the breath as it is. Maybe making any fidgets, any adjustments, getting out any wriggles that you need to, before just breathing normally, in through the nose and out through the nose. And so just breathing, just arriving in this space, just noticing how you're feeling. Checking in with your current state of mind. And just giving yourself permission to let go for the next 90 minutes. This time is for you. And before we start, I'm just going to read to you a very brief description, or one of the descriptions of yin and yang, the symbol that you see that are black and white, half and half. You can see the good in the bad and the bad in the good. Yin yang, the ancient symbol of harmony, reminds us that life is a balancing act and most fulfilling when we learn to embrace its dualities, the ups and the downs, good times and the bad times, joys and the challenges. So as I know all of you know exactly what you're doing here, I don't need to explain it, and we can go straight into it. We're going to come into alternate nostril breathing to begin our practice this evening. So as and when you are ready, you're going to start by taking your left hand up to your nostrils using your ring finger and your thumb of your left hand. If you do need me to go over, give me a little wave, but I'm 100% sure that you don't. Cool. So make sure before you begin that your posture is correct, that you're nice and tall in the spine, and your chin isn't tipping forwards, but it's more parallel to the floor. Then when you're ready, starting with your right nostril, and I'll indicate when we're going to stop this and return back to just a seated position.
Recording in progress.
Now just complete the round that you are currently working on. Don't stop halfway through. And then just placing the hand on your thighs as you just check the posture, make sure you remain nice and tall. And just take 2 breaths in through the nose and let them gently go through the mouth. And then closing the mouth, maybe a slight gap between the teeth and the tongue resting softly in the roof of the mouth as you start to then breathe in and out through the nose. Whether you want to practice with Ujjayi breath, that is totally up to you. And if you don't, just make sure that you just make full use of the lung space, full inhalations and full exhalations. Try and keep the belly nice and soft as you inhale and feel it expand. Sometimes we're so used to restricting and contracting the navel to spine that it's hard to let it soften. So now you're just moving into the breath that you're going to carry into your asana. Each breath allowing the shoulders to soften and just giving your body that permission just to let go further and further. If you also wish to set intentions, now's the time to do that. And then when you're ready, very slowly just start to allow the top half of the body to sway softly from side to side. And then as you sway from side to side, start to allow the weight to shift forwards as you start to take those sways into circles instead. You can make them as big as you like, as small as you like. And then moving again in the opposite direction. And then those circles are going to become smaller until eventually you start to become back to that swaying from side to side position. And you can allow yourself to sway back to stillness. And then you're going to just tilt the head back and lift the chin towards the ceiling. And then we're going to bring your chin back so that it's parallel to your mat and turn your head to the right. And just hold it there for 3 breaths. And then back to center. You turn your head to the left and holding another 3. And then back to centre. We're not going to dip the chin down, we do a lot of that day to day anyway, so we're going to just then circle the head in a couple of directions, there can only go in 2 directions. Just a couple of rolls in 1, and then a couple in the other. And then you're going to lift back to centre, slowly begin to make your way onto all 4s. Keeping that nice controlled breath with you. You probably don't need your props until the second half, so you might want to move those out of the way, but feel free to incorporate them in your flow if you want to. Hands shoulder distance, knees hip distance, and starting with some cat-cow. Inhaling to lift the front body forwards and up as the tailbone lifts. Exhaling as you round and tuck under. So I'm not going to go for a super fast flow for the first half either. I want you to really be able to move inwards and just have some time with yourself on a Sunday evening. I'll say you've thrown ourselves around the mat making funky shapes for another day. When you get into your next cat pose, I want you to press into the mat, really draw the chin to the chest and actually hold that cow. Imagine trying to press the back of that heart center up towards the ceiling, holding. And then you're going to inhale, lift the heart forward, tailbone lifts, and you are going to hold that cow position. See if you can deepen it with each breath, maybe allowing the shoulders to soften back towards the hips further and further, a little bit more arching in the tailbone. And then just one more round of cat-cow in the flow. And then what we're going to do is you're going to take yourself back to tabletop. You're going to take your left knee out slightly wider and bring your left heel in. Think child's pose in the left leg. Right leg is going to reach out to the side. Toes are going to face up towards the top of your mat. And as you exhale, you're going to just drop your hip down towards that heel like you would child's pose. Inhale to lift. Exhale as you drop back down, just slowly warming into the hips. Inhale to lift up. Exhale back down. Don't worry if your hips don't go all the way down to the heels, doesn't matter. Just moving the body, if it stops halfway, that's absolutely fine. You can always pop a block between your heel and your butt if you do want your butt to touch down on something. And then when you're ready, you're going to lift back up, so your spine and hands are back to tabletop. Press into your left hand, inhale as you reach that right arm up towards the ceiling. Nice open space across that heart, expanding through the fingertips. And then as you exhale, popping the right hand down, and you're going to reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. One more breath, and as you exhale, you're going to then thread this left arm underneath your right, bringing your left shoulder and your left ear down to the mat. You can keep the right hand where it is, or you can reach that right arm up towards the ceiling or bend at the elbow and bring the forearm behind the back if you want a bit more of a heart opener here instead. And one more breath in the hold. And then if you've got the right arm up or behind you, pop that back onto the mat as you press back onto all fours. Bring your right knee back in. And now it's your right knee that's going to take that half child's pose, and your left leg is going to reach out to the side at hip height, toes facing the top of your mat. Inhale to begin with. As you exhale, start to drop the hip down towards the heel. Inhaling to lift. So just the same as you did on the other side. So if you are quite tight in the hips, you're probably better off to do movements which are more dynamic and just flowy than sort of bringing yourself into a frog, for example, and just holding there and hoping for the best. Exhale back down. Inhale to lift. And back. Once more, and then when you're ready, you're going to arrive back at that tabletop-ish position. Right hand down, left arm is going to open up first. So open side of the posture probably feels a little bit more spacious than when we take the right arm out. Relax the left shoulder away from your ear, and then popping that left hand down onto the mat. Inhale, reach the right arm open. You might want to press down a bit further through that left big toe. And when you're ready, exhale, threading underneath, right shoulder, right ear down. And again, your choice what you would like to do with this left arm. I'm going to bring it behind because I don't feel it close in the chest then. Last breath, and then you can bring that left hand back to the mat. Inhale as you come back up, and then you're going to bring your left knee in, both knees wide now, toes together as you just drop into a child's pose. Nice reach to find some length through the sides of the body, and even bigger breath to find space in the back of the ribs. 3 breaths. Let your heart and your forehead melt on your out breaths. And then after that breath, you're going to then start to lift up, curl the toes under, and say hello to your first downward facing dog. So you guys know the deal by now. Wriggling, moving, shimmying. But it's evening. Usually I teach a lot in the morning, so I'm usually saying, oh, we're a little bit tighter today. You might feel just as tight as you do in the morning, but hopefully you don't. Hopefully you feel a little bit more limber than you do when you first wake up, but still pedaling the legs out if you need to. Taking real big emphasis and care over the breath. And then from your first downward facing dog, you're going to step your feet out as wide as your mat is, and you're going to walk your hands to your feet. Take a deep bend in the knees as you take hold of the elbows and just hang in a really weird forward fold ragdoll position. You can let the head hover, you can sway the torso from side to side, you can shift the weight from one foot to the other. And then you are going to release those elbows, hands to the mat as you inhale halfway. Take your left hand to your right ankle. Inhale as you reach your right arm up towards the ceiling, gazing up towards your right thumb. Just a very brief hold. And then exhale, right hand down to the left ankle, left arm to open. Left hand down to the mat. Inhale halfway. As you do that, then heel toe your feet in together so they're either hip distance or together, whichever you like them to be. Inhale as you reach the arms up and take a bit of a stretch through the side body. Soon as you arrive up there, exhale, come all the way back down again. Then you're going to walk your hands forward into a plank pose. We're going to hold our plank to begin with. 3, 2, and 1. Chaturanga down into cobra. Pubic bone pressing down, tops of the feet pressing in, belly and heart pulling forward as the shoulders relax away from your ears. Glutes are working too. Exhale as you come back down, chest to the mat. Inhale to lift back up. Couple more at your own pace, with your own breath. And apologies if I use dry breath and you can hear it on the mic. I tell myself every day, please stop doing that because they don't want to hear you breathing, but I just can't help it sometimes, force of habit, especially if it's a pose that I struggle with. I'm going to do 1 more. And then you're going to drop the chest back to the mat. You're going to take your hands out the same height but wider than your mat and press into your fingertips. As you inhale, you're going to lift into a slightly different variation of cobra. Pubic bones still pressing down, belly and heart still pulling forwards and up. You might want to roll the shoulders here. You might want to gaze over one shoulder, take a little bit of a twist. That's quite nice. Other side if you're going to do that. Back to center, exhale back down, inhale lifting back up, last one here. And then exhale as you lower that chest back down onto the mat. Hands to the ground and press back into your downward facing dog. Still inviting the movements in if you need them in this second down dog. If not, find a little bit of stillness. From your down dog, we're going to then bring the weight forwards to the wrists. Press the top of the heart, the back of the heart towards the ceiling as you come forward. And then you're going to bend the knees, let them hover, and press the hips back towards the heels. Lift the hips, press the back of the heart up as you shift forwards, bend the knees, push back. You can reverse that movement if you want to, or you can take anything that feels natural to you here. Just move intuitively. And then from this downward facing dog, looking ahead, walking, stepping or jumping to the top of your mat. Inhale for your flat back, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise all the way up, lengthening through the side body. Option to mini back bend if you want it. And exhale back into your fold. Halfway lift. Exhale to fold, hop, step or jump back to your plank. Chaturanga, just so that we can take it through an upward facing dog now. If you want to sit with cobras, you totally can do that. And then back into your down dog. As you inhale, you're going to lift the right leg, pressing the right heel towards the ceiling. As you exhale, step right foot forwards, warrior two. So thinking about that heart space, keeping the shoulders relaxed. And then you're going to inhale, reach the hands up, straight into that right leg. As you exhale, pull the hands to the heart, and then you're going to press the palms away from you in your warrior two. Inhale to lift, hands to heart, press away. Once more like that. And then you're going to hold that warrior two. Up to you how deep you want to go in the hip. Your thigh might be parallel to the mat, it might not. Either way, it's still a warrior two. Then from here, you are going to flip your palm and reverse your warrior. Lifting the chest towards the ceiling, lifting through the fingertips, and again, another hold. On your next exhalation, bring your forearm to your thigh, extended side angle. If you want to bring hand all the way down to the mat on the inside or the outside of your foot, please do. Find space to that left side, that's the most important part here. And then inhale, warrior two. You're going to do that again. Inhale as you reach the hands up, taking the bend out that knee. Exhale as the hands pull down to the heart and extend out. Inhale to lift. Once more. Flip the palm and reverse. Exhale into your extended side angle. This time inhale back into reverse warrior. Take the bend out of your right knee here as you reverse and keep lifting the chest, keep reaching up as you would in warrior two with that knee bend. As you exhale, you might have a bit more space now as we reach forwards into our Trikonasana. So if you've got blocks floating about, you can feel free to pop one to the inside of your foot and you can press down into that block instead. And one more reverse warrior. And then exhale as you bring those hands down to frame that right foot. Pushing back into downward dog, and you can stay here, but if you want a vinyasa, please take one now, forwards to plank and chaturanga. Good. And then we're going to inhale, lift that left heel up towards the ceiling. Really engaging that left glute, pressing the foot away from you. So thinking a nice long line from that left wrist all the way down the arm, through the side of the body, down the leg. As you exhale, left foot forwards, right heel down, warrior two on your left side. So a little pause in the beginning. Check in with it. If you have to check yourself out, oh, I look really scruffy. Tuck yourself in. And then you're going to inhale, take the bend out that left knee as you reach up. Exhale, hands to heart as you press the palms away from one another. Inhale to lift. Exhale. So you could gaze towards your back hand. Inhale up. Last one here for now. And then coming into your variation of extended side angle on this side. So I always like to reach up and over. If you want to go under and up, that's same but different. Maybe pressing the head back slightly, maybe rolling the right shoulder back a little bit further. And then when you're ready, back into warrior two. Gazing along that middle finger, maybe come a bit deeper for the second round. The deeper you go, the harder you're going to have to press into the outside of that back foot and try not to collapse into that inner arch. Inhale, reaching the hands up, taking the bend out the knee. Exhale, hands to heart. Pressing away. Inhale. Third one. And then you're going to pop forearm to thigh, extended side angle again. So you might find more room the second time round, third time round, fourth. We're not going to it that many times. Inhale as you reverse warrior. This reverse warrior though, we're going to pull the bend out, that left leg. See if we can't lift through the chest. Lean back a little bit further, and on your exhalation, coming into your Trikonasana. So you can take traditional arms expanding. You could bring right arm by the right ear for a deeper side stretch, or you could bring the hand behind you, maybe go for a semi-bind. One more breath, and then inhale back into your reverse warrior. Exhale, hands to frame your left foot. Push back to downward facing dog. Forwards to plank, everybody. Chaturanga cobra. Chest back to the mat. 3 more cobras. Pressing into the feet, don't forget the rest of the body. Really nice strong inhalations as you lift up. Exhaling as you bow that chest down towards the mat. Then you're going to push your hips back towards your heels. Very brief visit to child's pose. If you don't want it to breathe brief, you stay there as long as you need. 3, 2, and 1. Then we're going to lift the hips and we're going to walk the hands forward into puppy pose. Forehead down, palms down, arms are stretched out to the side. They're not, they're stretched out in front of you, not to the side at all. And then from our puppy, forearms are going to press down if they're not already. Lift the forehead, come onto your tummy into Sphinx. Shoulders stacked over the elbows, forearms parallel. Same engagement as Cobra in that lower part of the body. Pressing into the legs, feet, glutes on. Putting that chest forward and up. Option to stay there, or if you want a deeper back bend, lift it into a seal pose. If you want to flow, exhale from seal to Sphinx. And you can lift up and down. Just be mindful that the shoulders don't creep up and down with you. And one more breath. Whichever one you are in, you're going to take the elbows out wide as you lower the chest down to the mat. Then you're going to bring your hands to the side of your body. Inhale, lift the chest and your thighs into Shalabhasana. Hands to the mat, curl the toes under, press up to plank. From your plank, you're going to lift your hips into your downward facing dog. And then you're going to lift and turn around your right leg up towards the ceiling. You're going to bend the right knee now and stack your hip. Watch your left heel doesn't swivel you into wild thing. We're going to take fallen star, and you can either take a floaty one or a non-floaty one. But before we do, exhale, bring your right knee to your left shoulder. No, not the shoulder, left elbow. Inhale, push back, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bring your right knee to your left elbow and hover. And then you're going to start to roll to the inside of that left foot as you send the right leg through, lifting through that left arm. So toes can touch down or they can float in the air like an actual falling star. Then from here into wild thing or a hip stack. So left hand to the mat. Right leg is going to push back, bending that right knee. And you can hang here or you can touch the toes down, or you can not touch the toes and take a really active variation of your wild thing where you just allow the toes to hover above the mat. 3, 2, you're going to come to a high lunge. So you're going to release that right foot, lift the right knee, step the right foot to the top of your mat. Inhale as you release the hands into that nice high lunge position. As you exhale, you're going to maybe sink a little bit deeper. You're going to inhale, lift up. Exhale, back down. Twice more. Pull the hands to heart as you lower back into that hip and take a twist. Left elbow to the outside of your right thigh. Option to expand the heart space and reach that left arm down. Right arm towards the ceiling. One more breath. Can you relax the right shoulder away from the ear? And then palms back together. Inhale, reaching into your lunge. Exhale, hands to frame your right foot, left heel to lift into a standing split. Option to hold the ankle or take the hands wherever you like. Quite like to bring them down to the side of the body. I feel like a bird nose diving. Do whatever makes you feel good, whatever works for you. And then that left foot is going to meet your right. Inhale, halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise all the way up. Find space. Check the breath. And exhale to refold. Hop, step or jump back to plank for your vinyasas. Downward facing dog. If you're not going for them, your choice, your practice. Good. Lovely, Catherine. And then from our downward dog, we're going to lift that left leg, bending that left knee and stacking your hips. Watch right ankle. I'm not going to wild thing just yet. See if I can get this right this time. As you exhale, left knee to the right elbow. Then you're going to push it back to the three-legged dog. As you exhale, bring the knee towards that right elbow again. Start to swivel onto the inside of your right foot, releasing that right arm and sending the left leg through and down, or just through. Really press out that left hand, be mindful of the left shoulder. So then deciding whether you want to go for your floaty wild thing or your grounded. When you are ready, right hand to the mat. Slow transition as you extend that left leg, bending at the knee, either hovering wild thing or toes touching down. It's up to you. How do you want to work this evening? Good. So you're going to come out whenever you are ready and you're going to step that left foot forwards into a high lunge, just like you did on the other side. Good. As you exhale, coming deeper into that hip. So we're not bending in and out of this back knee. We're just going deeper into that front hip. Inhale as you press out. Exhale back in. Once more, as you pull down, bring the hands to the heart, ready for your twist. Right elbow to the outside of left thigh now. Watch you don't knock your left knee inwards. So you can either deepen the rotation by lengthening through the spine, palms pressing together as you rotate the chest, or if you want that extension of the heart, right hand down and left arm is going to reach up towards the ceiling. And watch the right knee, make sure right thigh is really pressing up towards the ceiling, it's not collapsing. If it is too much, pop it straight down to the mat instead. Inhale, releasing the twist. Exhale, hands to frame left foot. Pressing into that left foot, right leg is going to float up into your standy split. you are ready, right foot to the mat. Inhale all the way up. Exhale to fold forwards. Hop, step or jump back to plank. This will be your second to last vinyasa if you want it, so take it. If you don't, downward dog is for you. And then when you curl the toes and come back to downward dog, set your feet back wide as the mat and walk your hands to your feet once again. Inhale, we're going to come all the way up. And you're going to pull your hands to the heart. And you're going to pause for a moment. You're going to check in with your breath, check in with yourself. Maybe take a few in through the nose and out through the mouth. Actually don't, because then it ruins what we're going to do next. So from here, we're going to take a few rounds of drinking bird. So with the feet nice and wide, if you've never done this before, I'll show you really quickly. As you inhale, reach the arms up. You need to bend into your knees a little bit, otherwise you can jar your lower back. As you exhale, it's through the mouth, and we're just going to take a big breath in, and I want you to do that 10 times. Good thing is no one can hear you, so you can be as loud as you want. After that last one, you can either pull your hands to the heart, stand in Tadasana and pause, or you can fold forwards and pause. So just noticing the energy moving around you. Maybe you're feeling warmish, heat created from your vinyasa, from your yang practice. And that's just one side of the coin. When you're ready, let the arms, depending where you're coming from. If you're from Tadasana, you're going to roll your chin down and roll into your forward fold. If you are already in the forward fold, you guys are going to walk your hands forwards, pop your knees down and take a child's pose. So we're going to start to move into yin very soon. With yin, it is entirely up to you whether you want to do an engaged breath or you want to breathe naturally. I'll leave that up to you. When we hold, we're going to hold passively. And if you've done yin before, which I'm sure most of you have, I do put rebound poses between every single posture. So when I cue a rebound, you can either go to child's pose, to forward facing Shavasana, or for Shavasana, okay? And then we come out and then we move into the next one. So whenever I call rebound, it's your call where you want to go. I'm going to take another 5 breaths here. Life is all about balance. You don't always need to be getting stuff done. Sometimes it's perfectly okay and absolutely necessary to shut down, kick back and do nothing. And sometimes doing nothing is more powerful than doing. So if you do want your bolsters, make sure they're to hand. And the first position that we're going to come to is our pigeon, or it changes to sleeping swan in yin, which is just silly if you ask me. So you're going to lift up from your child's pose. You are more than welcome to come from downward dog, but you do not have to. I'm going to come from all fours and I'm going to just bring that right knee forwards behind my right wrist. You can always turn around and take a recline variation. Left hip is going to come back, and then you might want to hug your bolster. You might like the harshness of taking the chest all the way down to the mat. You do what serves you the best. I'm going to take my watch off and stare at it, and it's not because I'm bored and I want to go back in the house. It's because I want to make sure you get the same amount on each side. So I'll wait till we're all in. Jenny, I'm just going to assume that you're in, my love. And now this is where I think the challenge really starts. Mind starts to say, oh, how can I get you out of this? So just remember the principle of yin. One of the main ones is to fight that urge and to remain still. Each yin hold is going to be anything from 2 to 4 minutes. I'm not going to tell you which is which either. Maybe scan the body and posture. Release any tension that you've not noticed initially. So you're coming into your final few breaths of this side. To start to think about which rebound pose you want to transition to. If you want to straighten the leg out in a downward facing dog, you can. However, you still might feel the same sensation from your rebound. So I'm going to go forward facing Shavasana. You do which serves you best. Forward facing, backwards, or child's pose. Very slowly moving yourself out of position and allowing yourself the rebound to process and to feel how the energy shifts and moves in your body through your yin practice. So rebounds are not going to be obviously as long as the yin holds. So from here, when you're ready, either back into all fours if that's where you came from for your right side, and then you're going to start the transition to your pigeon on your left side, bringing that left knee forwards. Adjust accordingly to your body. Some people may have the shin out a little bit closer to the top of the mat. Others will be like mine and basically bent underneath. When you're ready, folding that chest forwards, either resting on your bolster again, or belly to the ground, or you can rest on the back of your hands. Wait till you're in. You may wish to scan the body like you did on the other side, just so that you can notice and release anything that's going on that maybe you didn't notice initially. You might notice that your body's become stiller, but your mind has got noisier. Don't be mad at your mind for wandering, it's just doing what it's always known to do. If it wanders, just acknowledge that it's wandered and then bring it back to your breath. You are starting to come into your final few breaths on your left side. So again, just maybe thinking about where you're going to take your rebound. When you do a same posture, different side, I would personally recommend the same rebound, but it's totally your call again. So from now, slowly beginning to make your transition to your rebound. You might notice cooling sensations through the body, warming, tingles. You might not feel anything at all. And we're going to start to think about our transition to our next posture, which we've actually already done this evening. And if you're on your tummy, you're pretty much set up for it. So you're going to lift your chest, and we're going to take either Sphinx or Seal in a yin variation. If you take Sphinx, you are going to have your shoulders over your elbows like you do normally, and you can keep your head facing forwards, or you might wish to rest it on a block. That's one option. I'm going to go to seal personally. So it's wherever works for you. So remember, you're moving to your edge first. So your edge initially might be Sphinx. Then maybe a minute in, you might need to transition to a seal. So thinking about that edge, not pushing past it, finding your posture, and then moving back inwards. As you start to breathe into the pose, you lose the edge, and then that's your cue to maybe take it deeper and deeper if you wish. Remember, it is a passive hold, so you can let go of that thigh and foot engagement. The only thing you want to be mindful here is if you're in seal, that your shoulders and your chest not collapsing forwards. Make sure you're still pressing the shoulders away from your ears. Breathe into your edge. Final few breaths in this hold. When you are ready, choose your rebound. So it is a back bend, so you might want to counteract it with a child's pose, or you might want to just rest the spine out long, your choice. Now we're going to transition to our next. So you're going to need to bring your hands up. You're going to come to a seated position, and I'm going to give you two choices. Because I'm nice like that. You can either go for a wide leg forward fold, or you can go for Baddha Konasana forward fold. I'm going to go for Baddha Konasana because I can't stand a wide leg forward fold. However you do use. If you're in a wide leg forward fold, let me just talk you through it. You may well want to elevate your hips, whether that on a cushion from the sofa. That's if you're tight in your hips and that you know when you fold forwards it's pretty uncomfortable. So we're folding, feet are not going to be flexed, the feet are going to flop either outwards, inwards, wherever they naturally form. And then you can use your bolster to fold forward as far as you want to. You can rest your forehead on the bolster and you can hug the bolster. If you're with me, I'm going Baddha Konasana, and you can elevate your hips for that as well. And you're going to fold forward. So you might not need a full bolster length, but Again, it's going to work just as well if you want to use the bolster. It is softer. Or you can always use a block, and you could pop your block on your feet and let your forehead rest on the block. Find what works for you and then let yourself go in it. It's really hard sometimes when you're so used to vinyasa and to flow all the time to let go of that gripping, because we're always engaging and really strong in our bodies. Just let it go. You might find it frustrating in comparison, but know that you're bringing that balance to your body that is really, really necessary. So your target area here is your hips. However, it might be worth giving the body a bit of a scan again. Sometimes we focus so much on our target area that we forget the other areas that might also be holding a bit of tension here. Think about the shoulders and the jaw, as well as the hips. You might find you need to move the bolster further and further away from you the longer you're in the hold. So if you want to make any adjustments, make them happen now as you start to come into your final minute. Last 2 breaths, and then into your rebound. Up to you, but it might be easier for your next pose if you go into a laying down Shavasana, but if you like the other options, go for those. So you may want your bolster for your next posture, or you may not, okay? So it might be handy. If you're laying in Shavasana, great. If you're not, get down there now. And then you're going to hug your right thigh in towards your chest. And we're going to take it to a twist, or twisted deer we're going to take. So there's various options depending on how far you want to take it. So the first option is to bring your right knee across the body, right arm out to the side, and then you can just let the knee either hover. However, if it is hovering and not touching down, personally I'd pop the bolster there or your cushions to hold that knee, because otherwise that thigh is going to be constantly in a state of tension, and that's everything that we're trying to get rid of there. So if you're content there, stay there, and you can gaze towards your right thumb, or you can bend your left knee and you can grab the left foot with the right hand if you would prefer. So that's a second option. If you find your right knee actually drops over quite far, you might want to extend the right leg and take the right big toe with the left hand. So you've got plenty of variation. Option 1, to roll the right knee over and let it rest on your bolster, right arm out wide. Option 2, to grab the left foot with the right hand. And option 3, all of that and extending the right leg and holding the right big toe with your left hand. Make your choice. Maybe gripping on that inner right thigh, just see if you can let it go. Maybe relaxing into the right shoulder a little bit more. Final breath in. Let the breath out before you start to transition. And then when you're ready, slowly bringing that knee back to center as you come back to your rebound. This one is going to be a slightly shorter rebound. And now, anytime from now, when you feel ready, taking the same posture to that left side. So you'll be bringing your left knee in first, choosing which variation. And remember, you're different on different sides, so you might well have a different variation on this side in comparison to the other. Right knee in, first option, knee across the body, resting the knee on your cushions or your bolster, left arm wide. That's a lovely stretch on its own, you don't have to add the extras, but sometimes we need a little bit more. And if you do, remember option 2, bending the right knee now, taking the right foot with the left hand, and you could stay there, or extending that left leg and finding the left big toe with the right hand. When we do go into Shavasana, I will turn my microphone off, although I'm sure you've probably got your own bangers going on outside your own windows, but if I can eliminate some of them, I will. Heading into your final few breaths on this side. And then any time from now, begin to make your transition out. So if you have both of the feet, you'll need to release those first, then release your twist and rebound. Again, not a very long one, because the one coming after this will be the longest. Now you're going to make your way to your final posture, which is going to be Supta Baddha Konasana, and it is your choice whether you want it with a bolster. If you want to bring a little bit more energy upwards into that heart chakra, then I would definitely use the bolster. I would just use the bolster anyway because I really like this pose like this, but it is your choice. So if you use the bolster, and you can choose how high you want your bolster up as well. If you want to be more in an upright position, just fold another blanket up or grab another cushion and pop it underneath your bolster, and you can sit as tall as you want to or as flat as you want to. Your lower back is going to come to your bolster. As you lean over it, allow the shoulders to relax over it, arms to the side with the palms facing up. Then obviously your feet together and your knees nice and wide. Once you're in position, just allow the body to let go and relax. And if your hips are still gripping or still feel like they just won't let go, grab some more cushions, and you can always prop the outside of your thighs up as well, and that just takes some of that tension away from the groin area if you're quite tense and tight around that space. Let the arms rest over the bolster, let the palms face upwards. Coming into your final minute. And now just slowly, without trying to disturb yourself too much, moving your bolster out of the way and bringing yourself into your final Shavasana. If you want a blanket, grab a blanket, pop socks on. You're going to be there for a normal amount of Shavasana for a change. So make sure that you are comfortable. So I hope it's not too annoying for you, but I will probably go slightly over 7:30 if that's all right with you. If you need to leave, absolutely fine. So once you're in your Shavasana, I want you to take a nice long slow deep breath in through the nose, and I want you to hold that breath into the tummy, that prana, that life force energy. I want you to hold it within you. I want you to hold it until you can't hold it anymore, and then when you're ready, just release it as a sigh through the mouth. And then I would like you just for a few moments to continue to listen to my voice, and then I will turn my mic off, I promise. So as you're resting, feel your back resting onto the mat, feel your weight pressing down, and feel the space within your body. Take another breath into that space, hold it in, and then let it go. I would like you now, as you inhale, and do that again, to engage the hands by making a fist. Hold that breath in. When you release the breath, release the clenched hands. Take another breath in, this time curling the toes under and pressing the calf muscles into the mat beneath you. Holding that tension in the body as you hold the breath, and release on your exhalation when you are ready. Take another breath in through the nose, holding that breath in as you curl the toes, as you clench the fists, as you press the calves into the mat, as you hug the shoulders up towards the ears, maybe even frowning, clenching the jaw, and hold that till you're almost at bursting, and then with the hugest sigh, let it all go. If you need to do a second one of those, please do. If your body is ready to find stillness and move into Shavasana, then allow it to do that now. Let your body rest on the mat, support it, and allow your body to process and sit with the practice that we've just taken together. And without moving, just allow your awareness to expand outwardly, sound, smells, and continue to rest for a moment longer. So just read you a very short passage that I would like to close our practice with. I am filled with quiet joy for no reason other than the fact that I am alive. The message I receive is clear. There's no time to lose from loving, no place but here to offer kindness, no day but this to be my true unfettered self and pass the flame from heart to heart. This is the only moment that exists, so simple, so exquisite, and so real. Continue to rest in your Shavasana without movement for a few moments more. Now before you move, draw a deep breath in, feel the lungs expand, really draw that prana, that life force energy towards you. And then let that breath go either through the nose or the mouth. Then you can allow some movement back towards your body. And when you feel ready, and only then, roll yourself over and rest on one side. As you rest there, just take a moment of gratitude for yourself and your body. As you rest there, I would also like to thank you for coming and practicing with me and sharing your Sunday practice with me. Take a final breath in through the nose and sigh this one out of the mouth. And then when ready, pressing up to seated with your hands together. As you inhale, feel the body become even more alert and aware of its surroundings. And as you exhale, feel grounded and connected to yourself. And then I'll bow forwards and bring our practice together to a close. As I've already said, thank you so much for sharing your time and your practice with me. Namaste. Thank you. Now I'm not sure if Rob's fallen asleep or whether he's frozen on me. No, he's there.